Hello. So there we go. I'm live. I'm live on Facebook. Sorry, just looking at my phone there, just checking. In fact, let me just go on it so I can see comments. So if you are watching this live, throw me a hashtag live in the comments below. If you're watching this on replay, so if you're watching this at some point in the future, throw me a hashtag replay. And for those that are jumping on, obviously tonight is the grand unveiling of the Harry and Meghan Markle interview with Oprah Winfrey. Don't worry, you are going to be finished well before 9 o'clock. You're going to be able to sit nice and comfy on your sofa and watch that. So if you're worried, stick around. What I'm going to show you tonight is going to be even more valuable, hopefully just as exciting and just as entertaining. So throw me a hashtag live if you're watching live, throw me a hashtag replay if you're watching this on replay. For those that are new, my name's Adam Reed. I'm the owner and founder of ARC. This is my free group where I'm showing how my private clients are dropping £20 or more. We have clients that are losing 20, 30, 40. We've had clients lose £70 in less than 9 months. And I'm unveiling all of those secrets. So how are we doing that? How are we helping these women do that without having to spend endless hours in the gym, without having to do loads of cardio, without having to give up pizza, wine, chocolate? So if you're excited for tonight, because tonight's going to be a really, really good one. Tonight, I'm going to break down how to create long-lasting, sustainable change. So if you didn't already, I've already dropped pillar one. So pillar one from our Revive method is called food freedom. And we show our clients how to have complete food freedom. No guilt, no shame for eating biscuits and chocolate and crisps. We show them how to incorporate those foods into their lifestyle, because essentially, if you want sustainable results, that's the first pillar. That's the first part of it, because you're never going to give those foods up that you love for the rest of your life. So you need to learn, you need to understand how to incorporate those. If you haven't seen that training yet, if you haven't seen that masterclass, throw me a pillar one in the comments, and I will make sure that you get tagged in that masterclass so that you can see that. And we break down exactly how we're doing that with our clients. But at the moment, I can see there's a few people watching. In fact, let me see. So there's a few people watching, but I haven't had any engagement yet. So before I'm going to get into this, because I want to get right into this, I want to start going through exactly how you can create long-lasting sustainable change. We are all about helping women within 6 months, 6, 9, 12 months. We're all about helping women do this for the rest of their lives, so they don't have to keep coming back to us. So that's it. It's a one and done process. So if you want me to get into this, what I want to see in the comments below is pillar two. Okay, so comment pillar two down below in the comments, and I'll get started, because at the moment I can see there's a couple of people on live, but no one's commented yet, no one's engaged. So hashtag live if you're on live, hashtag replay if you're watching us on replay, and pillar two in the comments if you are ready for me to get stuck into this and show you how to get results that last, how to lose 20 pounds or more and it finally be gone for good. No more yo-yo dieting, no more starting again Monday. This is going to be absolutely epic, but I've still not got anyone comment in the comments so far. So I'm going to wait till I get that first comment before we get into this. Look, oh, I can see Wendy's come on watching. I can see Julie's watching. Caroline was watching. I can see there's a few people that have jumped on, but still no interaction just yet. Okay, right. Let's get into it. I'm really excited to drop this, and I'm hoping that we have some of you interact throughout this live this evening. Okay, so here's my screen. So today we're going to go through pillar two, sustainable steps. So we've already, and you can find this in the guides. So at the top of the Facebook page, you can find a word called guides. It used to be called units. If you click on that, you've got all our masterclasses. If you go and watch those, you will get a clear breakdown of how we are achieving the incredible results we are with ladies. Now, tonight is all about pillar two, which is all about habits, and we're going to talk about exercise. We're going to talk about how to create long-lasting sustainable change. So if you hate cardio, you're probably going to love this, because I'm going to talk about why exercise is insignificant, how you can get long-lasting sustainable results without having to punish yourself with exercise, without having to exercise every single day. So tonight, here's what I'm going to break down. I'm going to break down one, not only how my clients lose weight, but keep it off, but how they put healthy habits on autopilot so that it all becomes as effortless as brushing your teeth. How to exercise less and get better, faster results. And how the women I work with and me and my team work with only do exercise they actually enjoy, if any at all. Like if you haven't seen Sam's client success story that she did in the group live a couple of weeks ago, she's lost 47 pounds without any exercise. And then the third thing we're going to cover is how you can feel confident and comfortable in any clothes so that you no longer avoid looking in the mirror. If any of this appeals to you, throw me a me in the comments below. I'm going to get straight into this. I'm not going to hang around because I know people want to get away and watch Oprah Winfrey and see what's going on there. But what I also want to know, so again, throw me a me in the comments below if any of this sounds familiar. If you've been frustrated, disheartened, sick and tired of starting again on Monday, yo-yo dieting over and over and jumping from diet to diet, and you want something that finally fits you and your lifestyle. So tonight is going to be absolutely vital. If any of these relate to you, if you're someone that's jumped from diet to diet, if you're sick and tired of starting again every single Monday and yo-yo dieting, tonight is going to especially highlight how to get away from that, how to stop that cycle. If you're impatient or you felt impatient or inconsistent and you therefore hopped from one diet to the next and you normally leave it to the last minute, I'm going to show you how to avoid that ever happening again. If you're deeply unhappy with the way you look and feel naked right now, sick of feeling sluggish, hiding underneath those baggy clothes, and you want a way to achieve a body that you desire and you love, even if you're menopausal, even if you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, without it taking over your busy schedule, without it taking over your life, tonight is going to be for you. So if any of these apply to you, just comment me in the comments below, just so I can see who this really resonates with. And if you feel confident enough to share with a group, let me know what in particular really resonates with you. Is it the yo-yo dieting? Just comment yo-yo dieting. Is it the impatience? Is it the leaving it till the last minute? Is it that at the moment you feel sluggish and lethargic? What really resonates with you? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So for those that don't know me, obviously I introduce myself very, very quickly at the start. My name's Adam Reed. I'm the owner and founder of ARC. Stands for Adam Reed Coaching, and we specialize in helping women that are approaching and experiencing the menopause. And we help them not only with weight loss, but we help them with their confidence, their mindset, their overall health and wellness. We cover every single aspect. So we look at exercise, we look at nutrition, we look at habits and mindset. And every single Monday at 8 p.m. in this group, I go live and I drop a masterclass. So next week, we've got Sarah, who's going to talk about how she's lost 45 pounds in the last year, despite only losing 7 pounds 2 years in the whole 2 years previously. And inside this group, I'm dropping a ton of value. So I'm regularly dropping posts that hopefully are reframing your mindset and helping you to think differently. And obviously these live trainings are massive every single Monday. And me and my team are helping women achieve life-changing results. We've got ladies like Diane that have completely come off their blood pressure medication. We've got ladies like Sue who were, she was just about to have a gastric band. Like she was pre-diabetic and is no longer in that situation. We've got women that have achieved the body they want and it's taken their confidence to the next level, and they've gone and got promotions and new jobs, which has meant they're earning thousands more per year. It's genuinely having a massive impact. In fact, if any of my clients are watching right now, let the people know in the comments what kind of impact the work that you've done with ARC has had on you. And obviously weight loss might be part of that, but what other aspects have ARC helped you with? Like what other kind of results have you got from this? How has it helped you? Just so people watching this, ladies watching this, that maybe kind of don't understand how we help, can start to see a bigger picture of what actually can be an outcome of working with us. So as you can see, here's just a few pictures. On the left-hand side, you've got Keris. As you can see, with the knowledge we've given her, she's sculpting her body. She didn't have a lot to lose in the first place, and she hasn't lost a lot if we're looking at the number on the scales, but she's starting to have the power and control to change her body. She's not had coaching for a long time. And in the middle, you got Natalie. So before working together, she was calorie counting meticulously. She was stuck, not seeing results. She's lost 40 pounds and she's maintaining with ease. And then we've got on the right-hand side, we've got Sean, and these pictures were about 11 weeks apart. She's lost more than 20 pounds and she's not working with us anymore, and she's still seeing consistent progress. So one thing you'll see from being part of this group is when women finish working with us, they don't then start regaining the weight, or they don't get stuck. Generally speaking, there's women, if they want to lose more weight, they still continue to see progress. So we give women the tools to do this on their own. So what I want you to think about tonight while you're watching this is I want you to imagine having a tried and tested process and never feeling like you're on a diet whilst you drop 20 pounds or more. Like how good would that be? So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to peel back the curtain. I'm going to show you how we help our private clients to do that. And the good news is, okay, it doesn't matter what you've tried in the past. It doesn't matter how many times you failed. If you have not given up, if you are here watching this, okay, you are not a failure, because that shows that you're willing to take action. As soon as you give up, as soon as you go, do you know what? I'm just going to accept. I'm just going to accept the way things are. Even though I'm not happy, I'm just going to accept it. Then you can say you failed. But until that point, if you are not willing to give up, if you are watching this tonight, then that means you've got every chance of getting the same results as our private clients, the women that you see in these testimonials, in these client success stories. Okay, and it doesn't matter what you've tried in the past. Every single woman that you see in those client success stories has been to the diet clubs, has been with personal trainers, has tried every diet under the sun, and they come to us and all of a sudden everything changes. And I'm going to highlight just one of those pillars tonight. We'll go to real depth. So the problem is that traditional dieting model. Now, if you haven't seen the pillar 1 training video, I recommend you see that, because that really goes in deep about why the traditional dieting model is setting you up for failure. It's not you that's the failure, but that's setting you up for failure. So traditional dieting models. So what we're going to talk about tonight is habits, and we're going to talk about what we call sustainable steps, and we help our clients create these sustainable steps. Whereas traditional dieting model is like this. So we've got two things here. Traditionally, personal trainers, most diets will say that you have to exercise, that you've got to do HIIT, or you've got to do cardio, or you've got to do some form of exercise to lose weight. I'm going to show you tonight why actually it's pretty irrelevant, why it's pretty insignificant for your weight loss. Now, I'm not saying don't exercise, but when it comes to weight loss, it's pretty irrelevant. And the other thing that you'll find with traditional diets is that you will get a list of things that you can do, and you'll get a list of things that you can't eat. Now, we're not going to talk about the eating part tonight because that's in the pillar 1 training. So as I said, if you want me to tag you in that pillar 1 training, all you got to do is comment pillar 1 underneath this live. So comment underneath, and I will make sure you get tagged in it so you see that. But the big problem with traditional dieting models and other type of models is that you'll get this list of things to change. You'll have a big overhaul in your lifestyle. And I'm going to explain tonight why that's setting you up for failure and how we do things differently. So first, let's talk about exercise. So firstly, exercise is insignificant. Now, this is a graph or a bar chart of your total daily energy expenditure. Now, as you can see, the biggest block there, your BMR, is your basal metabolic rate. Okay, essentially, that is the amount of calories, that is the amount of energy you use lying in bed all day. So straight away, when people say, oh, I'm only eating, 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories, I can't lose weight, that can't be happening because you burn more than that just lying in bed all day. Okay. And I've explained in pillar 1, in that pillar 1 masterclass, I've explained why counting calories can be flawed, why it can have its problems, and why it's not always the best solution. So straight away, your basal metabolic rate is the amount of energy you expend just being you. Okay. Just not doing it, lying in bed all day. The next big block is your non-exercise activity. And this is blinking, fidgeting, all the stuff where you're not voluntarily doing it. So you have very little control over this. The one thing people like to do for this part is walking. Technically, it's not exercise, but technically it's not neat. So one thing that you can measure to measure your movement is measure your steps. And then the next thing is your thermic effect of food. So eating food uses calories. The problem with this is eating more food means that you're consuming more and you're less likely to lose fat. So you can make that bigger, but that's not going to make it easier. So it's not irrelevant, but it's kind of irrelevant. Now, there's things that you can do with the thermic effect of food, and maybe that's something I could talk about in another masterclass. And the last bit, 5 to 10% is EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis. Exercise, and I'm gonna really break this down for you. I'm gonna show you how it is really insignificant. So some of you might watching this going, oh, but my smartwatch tells me I do, 700,000 calories, like when I'm doing my HIIT workouts. So to put it bluntly, smartwatches are inaccurate. The research shows that on average, they overestimate calories or expenditure by at least 30%. And in some cases, up to 90%. So let's say your smartwatch says that you've burned 1,000 calories. Actually, it's more likely to be around 700, but it could be anywhere between 100 and 700 calories. So the first thing I want you to kind of take away from tonight is, with exercise, don't measure how much energy you're expending, how many calories you're burning. Do it because you love it. Do it because you genuinely enjoy it and it's great for your health. And stop worrying about how many calories it's burning. It's not significant when it comes to weight loss. And I'm going to highlight a few more things that can help you understand this. So first of all, to burn 1 pound of fat, you need to do about 7 hours on the cross trainer, or 6 hours of spinning, or walk 35 miles at a fast pace. So roughly you need to do about 7 hours of exercise. So you need to exercise about an hour every single day. So if you just carried on eating how you're eating, and you just carried on doing what you're doing, and you were maintaining your weight and you wanted to lose 1 pound a week, you'd have to exercise every day for an hour, approximately. Like, now this is approximate. Now there's lots of problems with this, which I'm going to highlight. And that's what I'm going to talk about next. So what's the result of this level of exercise? So a lot of people just think, oh, well, if I exercise more, that's it. I'm going to lose weight. Well, actually, the research would suggest that it doesn't quite work like that, because when you start working harder, when you start exercising more, actually your appetite increases. And in a lot of cases, especially with cardio, the research shows that you then overconsume. You consume more than what you expended. Like, more often than not, this is the case. And I know from my personal experience, when I go swimming, as soon as I get out of the swimming pool, I am ravenous. I could literally eat my hands. Now, let me know in the comments, just say me, if you've experienced this, if you've exercised and actually it just ramps up your appetite. The other thing that you need to be aware of, and sometimes this is voluntary and sometimes this isn't, when people start to exercise more, what they actually then do is move less. So that NEAT, so the blinking, the fidgeting, there's less moving, there's less pacing, there's more sitting down. And as I showed you on that total daily energy expenditure, that NEAT portion is much, much bigger than your exercise portion. So yeah, you might increase your exercise portion, but it's still only going to be a small amount. But that might cause you to sit down more. It might cause you to do less. Or you might think because you've exercised, actually, you can sit down more. So there's all of these things at play. It's not a simple equation. It's not move more, eat less. As a lot of people will tell you, there's lots of things to think about and lots of things to be aware of. Then you've got the other side of things is potential burnout, exhaustion, your relationship. If you think, oh, I've exercised, I can now have a pizza, that's not really creating a healthy relationship with food and a healthy relationship with exercise. And what I've spoken to a lot of people about is they feel like if they've had, a cheat meal or they've eaten out or they've had a takeaway, the next day they need to punish themselves with exercise. That's not a healthy relationship to have with food. And that's not going to give you the results you want long-term. And we want to help you to change that mindset and change that. So the other way to think of it this way, right? There's 168 hours in a week, right? If you worked out 1 hour every single day, that's only 7 hours. That's less than 5% of the week. So I think by now, hopefully I've made it super, super clear. When it comes to fat loss, exercise is really insignificant. Do it because you love it. And I'm going to talk about what type of exercise. I'm going to talk about exercise a little bit more and talk about what we promote and what we kind of suggest to our clients and what they do as we go through this. But I just want you to know that you don't have to punish yourself with exercise. You don't have to do lots of exercise to see results. And if you just go and watch Sam's client success story in the guides units, or in the guide section, you'll see she's lost 47 pounds without any formal exercise, without any. So exercise is just one habit. Okay. Unfortunately, most diets expect you to change a lot of habits all at once. In fact, comment the word diets down below. Comment diets down below if your experience of diets is that when you start, you make big changes. So you give up stuff. You start doing things that you've never done before. You start eating things you've never eaten before. You completely change everything about your lifestyle. Comment diets if that is your experience. And typically that's what when people work for us, they want this list of foods that they can have and can't have. They want this list of things that they can do and they can't do. But that's not how it has to be. It doesn't have to be like that. And actually what we try and do is when someone comes to work with us, we meet them where they're currently at, so that then we can take them one step at a time. Because actually you don't need to make this big overhaul of changes, and they're not sustainable. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So when you're making lots and lots of changes, think about what do people tend to focus on? We tend to focus on what we fail or what we don't do. So let's say you had, you were told to make 5 changes to your lifestyle. You're told you've got to drink 3 liters of water a day. You've got to give up sugar. You've got to exercise 3 times a week. You've got to not use electronics before bed, and you've got to get 9 hours sleep. Like, just examples, right? Say you've got 5 things that you've got to try and do. That's quite hard to do every single one of those every single day. And let's say that you do all of them apart from you don't get the sleep. You're going to be focused on that. You're going to be like, well, I'm not going to see the results I want because I'm not getting the sleep. And that's going to be the focus. And you're going to probably feel like a failure. Or you might even feel guilty for not following the plan. Yeah, and you might be able to stick to the plan, like these 5 focuses. You might be able to stick to that for a couple of weeks, couple of months, but you're going to be able to do that long term, like keep on day after day, like focusing on 5 or more. It might be more than that. So what's easier to focus on? 1 thing, 5 things, 1 thing, 10 things. Like, it's much, much easier to focus on 1, 2, absolute maximum 3 things at once. The power of 3, they say. Okay. And you don't need more stuff. So again, a lot of women, when they come work with us, they expect like all this stuff. They want all these recipe books. They want these meal plans. They want lists. But actually giving you more stuff just complicates things. It just gives you more things to look at, more things to read, more things to try and digest. What we try and do is we try and break things down into 1 step at a time, 1 thing at a time, and only give our clients something as and when they need it. So it's step by step. Hence, it's personalized, because we only provide clients, and not all of our clients have all of the same things, because we only give them what they need when they need it. So this is what we're going to talk about tonight. There is a different way. So we're going to talk about habits. We're going to talk about how to form them. We're going to talk about how to create a sustainable approach. We're going to talk about how our clients are doing this so that when they finish working with us, that's it. They're good for life. So again, I want you to imagine having this step-by-step, easy to follow process that never feels like you're on a diet. You have the flexibility to include all the stuff you love. Imagine knowing exactly what to do and being in full control. Okay. Now, if you're ready for me, I can see there's a few people watching. If you're ready for me to go through this and explain this and how we do this for our clients, just comment ready. So just drop me the words ready in the comments. I'm going to give it 10 seconds. See if there's a few people on. I'm going to see if we've got anyone engaged, and then we'll get into it. So I'll just give it a few more seconds. Okay, so before we get into it, this is exactly what Diane's done. So Diane's lost more than 40 pounds now. Before we worked with her, she had literally been on every diet under the sun. She'd never lost more than a stone. She'd lost some weight, regained it all, started the next diet. Lost some weight, regained it all, started the next diet. But now, since we've worked with her, she's lost more than 40 pounds. She's gone from like, I think she was on free, correct me, if Diane's watching this, correct me if I'm wrong. She's gone from having like free blood pressure pills to none. She's off her blood pressure medication. Like these pictures were actually earlier in the process. I'm sure her body has changed a lot more. I think that's about when she lost about 20 pounds. And this is despite trying every diet under the sun. Or Alison. So she had done Joe Wicks, she had done V Shred, she had worked with a personal trainer, she had spent like literally every day doing exercise. And honestly, when she came to us, she was like, oh, I feel like the fat one out of all my friends. I don't like going out with them. I feel self-conscious. It takes me ages to get ready. And she no longer feels that way now. And when we worked with her, we showed her how to do step by step. And she, again, has kept these results. She lost 21 pounds in 12 weeks. As you can see, her body in 12 weeks, she's made those kind of changes. So what I'm going to introduce you tonight is pillar 2. So it's called sustainable steps. So we have the revive method. There's 3 pillars to it. All 3 pillars are absolutely vital. Imagine like the foundations underneath your house, or the foundations to your fat loss. These 3 pillars are the foundations. To make sure you get these long-lasting sustainable results, you need these 3 pillars. So pillar 1 is having that food freedom, the flexibility to eat food. We've already talked about this before. Remember, comment pillar 1 if you want me to tag you in that video. Tonight, we're going to talk about pillar 2, sustainable steps, how to do this in a sustainable way, how to build those blocks. And this is our unique method that no one else is using. It's completely different to maybe any diet, anything else you've ever done before. And that's because we're not a diet program. We're not a weight loss program. We are a personal one-to-one coaching service. And with that, we're helping professionals that are approaching experienced menopause lose 20 pounds or more for good. That's it. Once they work with us, that is it. No more diets. So what we typically see is impatience, inconsistency, hopping from diet one to the next, leaving things to the last minute, a big focus on exercise, following a cookie cutter plan, the same generic plan or same approach as everyone else, and wondering why it's not sustainable. And then after working with us, what we see is that these women learn how to build everything around their lifestyle. So it fits around them, not the other way around. They have unwavering confidence. They enjoy the process. They know what steps to take and in what order, how to exercise, how they want, if at all, and see consistent results. But essentially, what I want you to understand is with this process, with our unique method, there's one key thing to this. The best approach is the one you can stick to. And this is why we work one-to-one and we provide a very personalized approach, because it has to fit you. It has to fit your lifestyle. Like, you're never going to punish yourself with grueling exercise regimes. You're never going to exercise every single day and do HIIT all the time for the rest of your life. You're not going to be able to sustain that. Like, you must have a step-by-step approach that builds those foundations for long-term success. And my clients understand this. They're empowered with this. So how? So first of all, we're going to talk about exercise. So you only do exercise you enjoy. Now, there's an asterisk there because we're going to talk about that. Now, firstly, the top of this is it must be something you enjoy if you're going to exercise. I've already highlighted it is insignificant for weight loss. It's insignificant for fat loss. Okay, but for women that are going through the menopause, it is really important. And I would recommend weight training, resistance training. Okay, now the best form would be weight training with heavy weights or as heavy as you can lift. Next best form would be like machines or bands, stuff like that. Now, the reason I recommend that is as you go through the menopause, your estrogen and progesterone levels drop. They go through the floor and the gap between the two gets smaller. And the combination of both of these things actually increases your risk of osteoporosis, which means you're more likely to suffer injuries, more likely to break bones. And actually, as you get older, and both male and female, you're more likely to lose muscle mass. Now, muscle mass is what gives your body shape, but it's also what gives us quality of life. When I look at my nan, the reason she struggles to get up from the sofa and sit down is because she's losing muscle mass. She's got less and less muscle. She's got less and less strength to do it. Muscle is really, really important. And a lot of diets don't focus on this. And I could go into loads of detail of this, but this is one of the reasons why you can lose a lot more weight very quickly at the start on these other diets where they don't focus on sustaining muscle mass. So I recommend, and what we provide, so we provide classes, resistance band classes, so they can learn certain movements with bands and with equipment they've got at home with one of our fitness instructors. We provide training programs for individuals as well, so they can do weights at the gym or at home. And we recommend that. However, if the person we're working with doesn't enjoy it, then there's no point pushing them down that route. You can preserve muscle mass through diet alone. You just can't build muscle mass without doing weight training or resistance training. So if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. Okay. I recommend it for the various health reasons I've just talked about. But if you enjoy exercise, if you have anxiety, if you struggle with stress, exercise can be one of the best relievers and one of the best things you can do for your mental health. So get it in your day, do something you enjoy, whether that's Pilates, yoga, Zumba, whatever it is, whatever you love doing, dancing in your living room, whatever it is, if you enjoy it, do that, because you're more likely to do it. You're more consistently going to do it. And then the next thing to talk about is building habits in sequential order. Now, this is absolutely vital. I'm going to go into this in a little bit more detail. So what do we do? So as I said, we encourage any movement, any type of movement, okay? And we provide support for those that want to resistance train, because ultimately resistance training can be complicated. Like there are certain movements that are better than others. There are certain movements that are more dangerous than others. It's important that your form's correct, because if you're performing movements with bad form or bad posture, you're going to reinforce the muscles in those positions. And that obviously can lead to further problems. Oh, my screen's, there we go. So I've already talked about why resistance training, but what about habits? Now, this is absolutely vital. Okay, this is really, really key. Firstly, I want you to understand, and if you didn't see my live video today, none of this can be fueled by willpower and motivation. Okay, they're finite. They're not going to be with you every single day. All right. So willpower, motivation, I don't know anyone that wakes up every day with willpower and motivation. Like, think about brushing your teeth. In fact, I'm going to get to that. So to create lasting change, to create something that stands the test of time, it's going to be with you for the rest of life, you must repeatedly make the right decision without conscious effort. So conscious effort is willpower. That's you making a decision to do it. But for it to be lasting, for it to be sustainable, you've got to do it without willpower. You've got to do it without conscious thought, because that's not dependable. So think about, what things do you do without conscious thought? Brushing your teeth. Like you probably do that every morning, every night. You don't need willpower or motivation to do it. Like an example, my daughter, right? So my daughter's 3 years old and we're trying to get her into habit of brushing her teeth, but she doesn't remember. She's not motivated to do it. She doesn't have willpower to do it, but she will eventually do it on her own. It will eventually be just something she does, not because she's motivated by it every day, not because it's something she really wants to do, but because we just get her to do it and we get her to repeatedly do it. So when you're building habits, you have to just continually, day after day, do it, repeat it until it becomes habit. Now think about it. If you've got like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if you've got so many things to think about and you've got to try and do them repeatedly over and over and over, you're more likely to forget to do some of it. You're more likely to fail one of those things. Whereas if you've only got 1 or 2 things to do, you're more likely to repeat them over and over. And here's the habit creation process. So the easiest thing that I can help you understand this with is having a biscuit with your cup of tea when you get from work, right? So let's say you obviously probably haven't done this for a long time, because you probably haven't been in the office or whatever, but let's say you've had a stressful day and you get in from work, and first thing you do is go, oh, I need a cup of tea, or I need a cuppa. All right. So you turn the kettle on and what do most people do, right? Feeling stressed, turn on the kettle and they go, oh, I need a biscuit. Biscuit will make me feel good. So you reach for the biscuit tin, you reach for the biscuits. Now, your trigger is your stress and turning on the kettle. The action is reaching for the biscuit tin and reaching for the biscuits. The reward is the dopamine hit. So biscuits are high in sugar, high in fat, and they actually release a dopamine hit to the brain, which makes you feel good. It actually, for a short period of time, alleviates the stress response that you're feeling. You've just created this negative feedback loop. Well, it's a positive feedback loop, but it's a negative habit. And every time you come in and you're stressed and you turn that kettle on, you will have this association with the cup of tea, with the stress, with having a biscuit, because it made you feel good. And you've created this habit. Now, this is a really, really simplistic kind of way of thinking of it. But what I'd love to know is, if this makes sense, just comment "makes sense" in the comments below. So what you need to think about is, when you're creating habits, is you need to reverse engineer this and think about, right, what is it I want to achieve? What triggers can I put in place within my environment, within my lifestyle, that set about actions which are going to help me get the results I want? And what rewards can I give myself instantly that are going to reinforce that feedback loop? Now, the problem with this is that healthy habits are generally, you don't get the reward, you don't get the benefits, the satisfaction for a while. Like, think about, saying no to certain foods or reducing how much you're eating. Like, you're not going to instantly see weight loss. So you have to think about that reward process, something non-food related, something that's going to make you want to continue with that habit. And habits are super, super important. It's important to be aware that, like, you need to make sure you instill them, whether or not you're seeing the changes that you want. So if this makes sense, comment "makes sense" below. I want to make sure that you understand. If this doesn't make sense, please ask questions, like ask me to clarify. I'm more than happy to go into that in more detail. Oh, so what you then need to think about is doing this step by step. So 1, maybe 2, in some circumstances, 3 things at any one time. And you need to make sure that they're the right habits. So what we do when people first come to us and work with us, they fill out an initial assessment. They have a call with us. And based on all this information we've got, we know straight away, we can go, right, if we just make this one change, this one habit, if we focus on that for the next week, the next 2 weeks, we're going to see some results straight away. And that's going to help them get started. And then once we feel that that's established, then we can go, right, what's the next thing we can do to keep them going and improve their health? What's the next thing? So you have to understand that. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, what are the habits? It's no good me just saying, well, it's this or it's this or it's this, because for each person, it's different. Like, for example, someone might have great sleep. That's a habit, like improving your sleep hygiene, your sleep. Whereas someone else might have great stress management and a good toolbox there. So we have to look at the individual and what each individual needs. So it's no good me kind of saying, well, everyone needs to focus on this habit, because it is different. It's different for each individual. And I hope that makes sense as well. So what are those steps? It depends. It depends on each individual, where they're at and what they need. And this is what I mean by meeting people where their lifestyle is. So we look at the individual and we can start to help that individual move forward where they are. And this is why generic approaches are probably setting you up for failure, because just because your friend in the office or your best mate's doing something that's working for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And then the one thing to think about, or often in these circumstances, is whatever they're doing might be working right now, but is it sustainable? So as I've already highlighted, there are 3 pillars. Okay, I've done a masterclass on food freedom. Comment, I can already see there's been a few comments for that, but comment food freedom if you want me to tag you in that so you can see that. Today we talked about pillar 2, which is sustainable steps, creating habits. Now there's a lot more we could talk about. I could talk about habit stacking. I could talk about our consistency calendar, which helps people to do those things repeatedly. And then there's pillar 3, which I'm going to talk about in a couple of weeks' time, which is rediscover, rewire, which is the mindset. So as already highlighted, this, although yes, we help women lose weight, this isn't a diet club. This isn't just a weight loss program. We help with habits, we help with nutrition, we help with exercise, we help with mindset. And it's important that you have these 3 pillars and you have these foundations in place. if you want long-lasting, sustainable results, if you don't want to keep starting again on Monday, if you don't want to just hop from one diet to the next. So with that in mind, if you're wondering how, okay, so if you're like, do you know what? I think I need it. I think I need someone to take me by the hand and show me how to do this step by step. Then comment I'm next. And what I'll do is I'll send you a message and I'll start to ask you some questions to find out where you're at and where it is you want to be. And we'll start to see if actually what we do is a good fit for you and whether actually you could be our next client success story. Now, there's no guarantees of this. So the process would be I'd message you. If it's a good fit, then we might book you in for a transformation call. And on that call, you get about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We're going to go into a lot more detail. We're going to find out what's really going on with your lifestyle, what's going on with your mindset, what's really holding you back. And we're going to help you get clarity. Now, at the end of that call, we might, okay, there's no guarantees, we might talk about what it would be like to work together. If I'm 100% confident, or the coach that you speak to is 100% confident, then we would ask you if it's something you want to do and you want to talk about, and we'd walk you through what it would be like to work together. However, if we can't help you, or you're not interested, or it just doesn't make sense, then we're not going to talk about it. What we'll do is we'll try and point you in the direction of something or someone that might help you. And that might be back to the group to watch some more masterclasses. It might be some resources that we've got. But if you want to start that conversation to see if you can be the next client success story, all you've got to do is comment I'm next. So you might be wondering, how do I perform resistance training? What exercises are best? How often do I train? What about technique when I lift weights? What about safety? How do I develop these habits? What habit shall I do first? Then what's next? What's the next habit after that? Like, how can I build those habits into my lifestyle? If you're wondering all of those how questions and you feel that you need someone to kind of like show you the way, so you've got a proven step-by-step process, as I said, just comment I'm next and we can start that conversation and we can see whether it's the right thing for you. And that's it from me tonight. Hopefully I've shown you the importance of habits and how, you know, a lot of those other approaches, whether it's working with a personal trainer, whether it's going to the diet club, whether it's going to, you know, another fad, hopefully I've shown you those big overhaul, those big, massive amount of changes or a focus on exercise isn't serving you long-term. And hopefully I've shown you it as a different way. And actually, you can still see results, and you can still see big results by making one or two changes. And actually, you're going to have more sustainable results doing it that way. And then obviously there's ways to create those habits. So I'm going to stick around for a minute or two. Obviously, I don't want to keep people too long because I know that they probably want to get away and watch Oprah. And I'm going to see if there's been any questions throughout this evening. As I said, if you want to be the next client success story, if you want to work with me and my team, or you're interested in talking about it, then just comment I'm next in the comments below. Just to see if there's any comments, any questions. I'm only going to be here for a few more minutes and then we're going to get going. Okay, Kath, I'll make sure you get tagged in that, Kath. So I'll tag you in that masterclass, the Pillar One masterclass. Okay, I don't think there's any questions. I think everyone's ready to get going. If you do have any questions, you want to speak to me privately about anything, feel free to send me a private message. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. Let me know in the comments below. In fact, if you've loved this evening, press the like button, that love heart button. Show me some love that you've enjoyed it and you've got something out of it. Other than that, I'm going to leave you there. Goodbye, and I'll see you all later.